What's up, Big Blue Nation? It's your boy Bradley B-Roll back again. And this week, each week, I always have a guest on, former Wildcat. And this week, I got a special one on, former Wildcat Ravi Moss. Hey, Ravi, man, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
And before we get going into all the UK stuff, I want to start off, you went to high school at. You were in University Heights, western part of Kentucky. A lot of people probably don't know that school or know much about that western part of Kentucky. Everybody's eastern part of Kentucky. But just talk about your days, man, being at western part of Kentucky, University Heights.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of good basketball down in Western Kentucky. We had a lot of studs, and playing at Heights, we had guys that were there before me, like Greg Buckner, Isaiah Victor, Lamont Barnes, Swan. So, playing there, those guys would come back in the summertime, and we'd have some pickup games that were serious, man. I mean, we had pickup games where people will just sit and watch us play pickup because they were that good. And it's a lot of fun. It was everybody was talented and athletic, and they loved basketball. And video games weren't as good back then, so we played basketball more. It was more interaction on the basketball court than just 2K or whatever, Halo. So it was competitive, and it shaped a lot of competitive fire, a lot of juices, and really helped sharpen my ball game, honestly.
When you were in high school, did you ever have a thought of, playing at a big university like the University of Kentucky? What was your process going? Would you get recruited pretty heavily? How'd that work?
I thought I wanted to play somewhere big time always, but my game didn't translate to that, I guess. So I didn't play AAU. And I think that ultimately may have hurt me by not playing AAU. I just played with my team in the summertime, and I didn't do any travel basketball. So I didn't really get a lot of exposure. So I got recruited from a lot of schools. Tennessee recruited me, Vanderbilt, NC State, Notre Dame. But, my senior year, none of them ever really came through. Vanderbilt came to a couple games of mine. But never offered me anything, which is why I always love to beat Vanderbilt. But yeah, nah, man. So like at the end of it, when it all boiled down to it, it was like small schools, Transy, and Coach Lane over at Transy came down and sat in my living room, and I was like, you know what, I could play for that guy. So I thought I was going to end up playing at Transy. And then it just worked out to where, Coach Smith had seen me play a couple times. Luckily, I had to play OJ Mayo my senior year at the All-A. And Coach Smith came to see OJ. He didn't come to see me. Let's make that clear. Let's make sure that's known. He was not there to see me. But we played OJ in the first round of Class A, and I think I had like 39 or something like that, like 39 and 21. It was a crazy stat line, 39 and 21 or something. And then we ended up winning, and Stock played the next game. So he was there to see OJ and Brandon Stockton, because Brandon was Mr. Basketball and he'd already signed. And in the meantime, I got to show what I had a little bit. And then we also played Catholic my senior year, and Coach saw me there. He was able to come to that game too. So I've been able to show what I could do in front of him, and he was like, you can walk on if you want to. It's like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I walked on, and the rest is history.
Man, that's a great story, man, because a lot of people don't quite understand that, you're always supposed to give everything you got on the court, no matter when you're playing at any moment, because obviously you balled out whenever, Coach Tubby Smith was there to see other players. And obviously it worked out well for you. I think it's that same story kind of happened to John Morant. He was kind of playing, somewhere in, I think, South Carolina. And I think everybody was looking at Zion Williams, and he was at this gym in the back corner, and he balled out, and his story, you see how it is. So I guess you never know what can happen.
You never know, man. That's why you just got to go play your game, man. Do what you got to do. That's what I say. You never know what'll happen. So it's good. It's crazy. My mom was always like, "Oh no, you're gonna play at Kentucky." I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm not playing at Kentucky." But she believed it. She was like, "No, that's what's gonna happen." Like,
hey, moms always know, don't they? I mean,
crazy, right?
It is crazy. And once you got on the campus and you started, walking on, obviously you had a great guys in front of you. Gerald Fitch. You want to talk about some hoopers on there, Cliff Hawkins. I mean, you
Yeah.
had a lot of guys in front of you because you're walking, obviously, so you had to earn your minutes. Just
Mhm.
talk about that every day in practice, man. Being a battle.
Man, I'm never gonna forget the first day we played pickup. First day I played pickup, and our pickup games used to be crazy. They were really good. We had Gerald, Cliff, like you said, Keith Bogans, Antoine Barber's first year was then. Kalina Azabuki was there, and then we had Eric, Chuck, Marquise. I mean, we were loaded. We had a lot of guys that could play. Uh, and my first time playing, I was playing pretty well. I was getting buckets, and Gerald was guarding me, and the other guys were like, "Oh man, dang, G, you gonna let him do you like that?" And then he was like, "Man, who is this dude, man?" Like he was like, just straight up disrespect. Like I don't even know who this dude is. Oh, and they're like, he's on the team, man. Like, oh, he that dude. I was like, yeah, boy. So it was crazy, man. But so I got some respect early, man, and it wasn't easy because halfway, like, those dudes were good. I wasn't very good, and those dudes were really good. And it was just like coming in, like, man, I don't know if I can do this. So like halfway through, maybe not halfway, like at the beginning of my freshman year, probably like a quarter of the way through, uh, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I don't think I can play here. I probably need to go somewhere else. But Coach Dave Hobbs, I love him to death, man. He not only he changed my shot, so I started making threes, which was great. But he was just like, nah, man, you have to understand the amount of respect these guys have for you. And he's like, I watch pickup all the time, and you get picked up in every single game. And he's like, first game. And he's like, that's not rare. And it shows that, you can play. And these guys respect you. So you need to stick around and ride it out. And I was like, all right, I can do that. So
Mm.
that's what I did. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah, you battled, man. You worked hard. I remember watching you. I was kind of in college around that same time. And
Mhm.
watching you, obviously with the defensive stopper. Guard the, one of the better players on the team, and obviously you were undersized, only being 6'2", 6'3".
Mhm.
Just talk about doing that. Change your
Mhm.
mindset from being a defensive stopper and trying to find your way on the court. What was that whole process?
Man, I've always just wanted to get on the court, man. So even when I was a freshman in high school, I ended up starting because some kids got in trouble ahead of me, and I just wanted to do anything I could to get on the court. And I knew that uh, scoring the basketball was not what was needed from me. I needed to go in there and rebound and defend and do the dirty work. So that's what I did, and I just specialized in that. And I played as hard as I could, and I knew that I had to make open shots. And I had to do the dirty work. And luckily, I was able to do it. I mean, my freshman year we were amazing. My freshman year we were cold. It was the best team I've ever been a part of. Um, the practices were crazy. Those were some of the most intense pickup games, some of the best practices because we had 12 guys, 13 guys that wanted to play, and like they were getting after it in practice. I mean, Jules, Queese, uh, all the bigs. They had their own little deals where they would go hard when in certain drills and certain
Yeah.
things. But us guards, we were getting after it every day and going against Cliff because Hawk was the best on-ball defender to this day I've ever seen because he could move. He could be in his defensive position and move laterally so strong. You could push against him. He was so quick, had great hands. So playing against him every day, and then Fitch guarding him was tricky and it was great. And Keith was so strong. Like Bogues was so much stronger than me. It was crazy because he was a grown man. Like that's when seniors were on the team, and like when you were a senior and a freshman coming in, you felt the difference. And it was a different time in college basketball. So I got to grow and learn as I was maturing and growing. So my freshman year I didn't play hardly any. I just got a lot of scrub time because we were blowing teams out back then. My freshman year is when we went 26 game run. When if Bogues didn't sprain his ankle, we'd have a national championship, but that's another story. But those learning that year and learning the toughness that Keith instilled in the team and the toughness that Gerald and those guys adopted really set the tone for us from my freshman year definitely up till probably my junior year because those guys were strong. We had good leadership. We had good vision. And, we were together. We didn't always get along, but we respected each other enough to do what we needed to do on the court.
Yeah, like you said, I always like to hear that, guys, working their way up. Now a lot of kids don't really get to see a lot of that being a freshman. You come in, you immediately play. You don't really have any seniors on the team, but,
Mhm.
that's just how it is now. But talk to me about Coach Tubby Smith, man. What kind of coach he was? He was obviously very stern, a good coach,
Yeah.
solid, well respected in the coaching world. Just talk about Coach Tubby Smith playing for him.
Man, Coach Smith he's a genius, man. He's really, really smart. And I say that because uh, of the way that we could adjust on the fly. Like we would come in with a game plan and usually it would be a solid game plan. But if something was going wrong at halftime, we'd be like, all right, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to start doubling the post, make sure we're, flying off the backside to get steals or doing whatever. And I mean, he was really good in X's and O's. He doesn't get the credit for that he deserves, I think. His philosophies and us getting out and pushing the rock, he got a lot of heat, but we were really good and he was still getting heat, which was crazy. But I mean, my freshman year, we were number one in the country. My sophomore year, we were like number one in the country. My junior year, we were like 3 or 4 for the whole season, or maybe 5 the whole season. So like my first 3 years, we were at the top of the country, like, we we're expected to be. And he kept us there. He always did a good job of making sure, like when we got in the tournament, into the big games, everything was the same. Nothing was different. No added pressure. We just didn't get the bounces that we needed to get to the floor, man. That's really what it all boils down to. It wasn't his lack of coaching or our lack of game. Honestly, it's just the way the ball bounces. And as you know, it's hard to get to a 4. And we got close twice. I got to 2 Elite Eights. One was the Dwayne Wade Elite Eight, which, Bogues wasn't healthy. I still say if Bogues was healthy, we could have contained Dwayne. We could have been all right.
Yeah.
And I think we would have won a national championship that year because they ended up losing to Kansas by 40 the next game in the Final Four. What an embarrassment, Dwayne Wade. Embarrassment. Do all that crap. Why the heck were we playing where were we playing? Milwaukee? Where were we playing? In Wisconsin.
Yep.
Why the heck were we playing the number 1 overall seed? Oh, man, don't get me started. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then the one that hurt the most was the Michigan State Elite Eight, man. That one took a lot because I played a lot in that one. I was my best friends on the team with Chuck and Josh, and they were seniors. And we wanted to get to a 4. We could taste it. We were like, yeah, we're there. And man, the heartbreak hurts. It still hurts to talk about right now. I'm telling you, man.
I can totally see it, man. And that does, when you go back and you look at it and you analyze it, and after you see it, you're like, man, we were this close.
Yeah, literally that close, man. It hurts bad. I cried the whole way home. I cried from Austin, Texas to Lexington, Kentucky, I think. I'm pretty sure. Nonstop. I may have fallen asleep for like 20 minutes and woke up crying again. It was tough.
Yeah, that's awful. That's awful, man. I hate for it. Yeah. While you were there at Kentucky, in your last year, you thought about, trying out for the football team.
Fixing them up, yeah.
Yeah. You were trying to go and be a wide receiver, man. You hadn't played football in a long time. How'd that come about? What was huh?
Joker Phillips. That's it. He talked me out of my draw. But I was just like, I don't know. I wanted to play. I was going to play. I went and did spring football, and I was like, you know what? Just may as well. Let's give it a shot. The problem was I played in a barnstorming game, and I got paid for that. And the NCAA is a joke. And they said because I played in that, I was going to have to sit out 6 games, which is half the season of football. And I was like, all right, I'm already behind enough as it is. I can't sit 6 games and expect to do anything. Like, what's the point of me playing 6 games of football? And I don't know, man. So the NCAA is a joke. If it wasn't for that, I would have played and I would have loved it. Like, I love a lot of those football players. That was like Andre Woodson and Wesley Woodyard, and my little brother was on the team too. So it would have been awesome, man. It would have been awesome.
Once you were done, playing and whatnot, you had the opportunity. Now what you're doing is emceeing for at Rupp Arena for home games, man. You and Maria do a very good job. I guess just talk about how did that come about, and how much you love doing that on game days.
It was kind of crazy, like because Nathan Schwacke, he hit me up, and because I had hosted Midnight Madness before, he was like, we're gonna try something new, and I was like, all right, and we're gonna do this during the games. And at first, it was a little shaky. At first, we didn't really know what was going on, but once we got in our groove, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And it's cool because a lot of the people come up and say, we love, what you do during the games and stuff. You keep it entertaining, which it is good. I mean, it does keep it light and some fun during the breaks, and I enjoy that. And sometimes it sucks on a Tuesday night when we're playing, South North Dakota State of whatever. But I still enjoy being around the guys. I enjoy being around the program, and especially the big game. I love the big games. I mean, it still feels great. It gives me a little juice. So it's fun.
Switch gears here, man. We having a lot of issues going on right now in the world with
Yeah.
the protests and all the Black Lives Matter, all that stuff going on. I guess let me get your thoughts on it, man. I mean, if you want to speak on it, all the stuff that's going on right now in the world. What is your thoughts on? You have kids, and I'm sure you explained to some of your kids about the situation I have myself. So, what's your thought on everything?
I feel like this is a critical time for our country. This is a very important matter, and a matter that I hope people will take the time to stop and really listen to people like myself, people that are my color, people that are our color, because our life in America is very different from their life in America. And it has been forever. And for the longest time growing up, my mother would explain things to me. My father would say things to me. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, why can't I do that? I mean, this guy's doing that. Well, that's not the way we can do it. We don't have that luxury. We can't be seen doing that. We can't, do those things because there's a difference. And forever, it's just been, that's how it is. That's just the way it is. And that's how you got to deal with it. And it's been that way up until 2020. And where we are right now, with everything stopped, COVID has stopped everything. So this magnifying glass has been so much greater on what's going on, because we've seen police brutality before. We've seen people killed by police before. We've seen, Trayvon Martin, where, white guys have killed black guys with no repercussions at all. We've seen that, but we've always had, something to go on to next. So it's always been, yeah, I saw that. That was horrible. Yeah, man. But did you see Devin Booker last night? You know what I mean? But, what about the Cats? Like, it's always been something else to talk about and go on. Well, there's nothing else to talk about. All we have to talk about right now is what's going on. And that's a great thing, because I think real change can come from this. I hope and I pray that people that root for the University of Kentucky as hard as they do and root for all the black boys that are on the court will stop and think about what those black boys go through and their lives outside of the court. So I've been very fortunate that I've been able to be successful, after basketball. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that has to do with me playing at Kentucky, because I get a pass when I go to Eastern Kentucky, because of that. A lot of guys don't get that luxury. A lot of people don't have that. I have black privilege, I guess you could say, because of where I am and where I played and all that type of stuff. A lot of people don't have that. And I really hope this is a time where people can open up their eyes, listen to us, understand the differences that we have, and try to change that to make it truly an equal place. I hope people can watch Netflix and get on there and watch 13th, so they can understand exactly, the system that we're fighting, the system that we've been put into, and the differences of how it is for them versus how it is for us, and how it's not just us crying out right now. This has been a battle that we've been fighting forever, literally since we've been here. This is a battle that we fought forever. And it's really shook me up, and it really hit home with me and let me know that I needed to do more, with an experience that I had 2 weeks ago when I went on vacation. I went on vacation with my family and went to a beach, and it was like the Twilight Zone. Like, everywhere we went, it was like people looked at us and were staring, and very short interactions. It was known that we weren't welcome just because we were black. And it's like, it's 2020 and I'm a black guy. Okay. And just because I'm a black guy, what? I'm different. You don't want to be around me just because I'm black? Like, why does that still go on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we change that already? Why has that not been changed? Why is this issue not addressed? Why do I have to explain to my son that, nah, you can't go on this bike ride because I don't know what's going to happen? You know, it's not fair. It's not fair. And it's hurtful. And I hope that people will stop and stop saying, oh, well, I don't agree with the riot, and stop. That's deflecting. That is not addressing what is going on, because we're not rioting. We are peacefully protesting. We're trying to get some change to a system that has been against us forever. And I hope that people will stop and listen to what's going on and not deflect and not say, yeah, but you guys don't need to riot. We're not, that's not us. That's other stuff. And I just hope that this is a time where, like I said, people will stop and listen to us so we can go places without feeling uncomfortable.
Yep.
We can go places and just be ourselves, and people can truly love us for what's in our hearts and what's in our souls. And if we can get that done, then George Floyd and all the other people, Ahmaud Arbery, all the people that have passed away would not die in vain. And they would have died to help move a cause forward, to change a country, to eventually change the world. Because if we start loving each other the way we're supposed to, we can be a special place. And there's no reason that we're not doing that already. And hopefully that this will encourage that change and we can move forward and start doing that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You know, I that's a very strong message. You know, and I'm glad you were able to share that story. You know, I talk to my kids as well. You know, about the whole situation, because you know, at the point now, you got to be educated on all this
Yeah.
stuff. You can't
Yeah.
turn a blind eye to it. You can't say that it's not happening. And like you said, I'm glad it's happening now, like you said, because there's nothing else going on in the world. It gives
Mm-hmm.
opportunities for people that maybe are not racist, or just people that just didn't know what was going on, now can see what is really happening to African American people, people of color, of all this situation. Because it's not only just us. You know, you got Asians, you got Native Americans, all of them have these type of stories and situations that happen to them. And so it's definitely important for people to understand that, you know, we're not going to tolerate this. And I think we need to come together as one, no matter what your race is,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to express and show people that, look, this is not right. We cannot have this. This is 2020. We need to come together. We're better people than this. The people that are those type of people, ignore them. You know, push them out. You're not part of the, you know, of my life. And I've lost some followers. I lost some, you know, some people that on Facebook that I unfollow some people, because I'm like, if you're not going to support the movement, you know, you're the problem. So,
Right.
you know, I'm so glad that you spoke on that. And you know, and it's always a touchy subject for people.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it's not really touchy because I dealt with it all my life, you know, and so we need to have these conversations.
And that's it. That's the thing, is that, you know, we have become so used to the way that it is that we just accept it for what it is. And unfortunately, we've done that for forever. We've just accepted it. And a lot of my friends don't understand, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they'll call me and say, I don't really know what to say. I can't understand. But just the fact that they're willing to call, the fact that they're willing to say, hey, listen, I don't understand, but I'm willing to listen, to learn, and, you know, will you help me? That's all that we need right now. We just need to be able to talk, to have a conversation that may be uncomfortable, that may not, you know, be touchy-feely and or you know, feel good to you at the time. But the bottom line is, if we have those conversations and they can kind of step out of their box, step into our box, we step into their box, and there's an understanding, a mutual understanding. Well, hey, listen, I have to walk into rooms full of white people all the time, and I have to be comfortable with that. You know what I mean? Very rarely, probably, do you ever have to walk in a room full of black people and be comfortable. It's just a difference. That's the way it is. But, you know, these are things that they may not think about. They may not know. They may not understand. And that's fine. I'm not holding that against them at all. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I just want you all to understand where we're coming from so you guys can be more informed and they can be more informed on how we're feeling. Like, a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot of pain associated with what's going on, and just and that's why I say don't talk about the rioting or looting in the same sentence, because it's not equal, it's not equivalent, it's not the same. Like, it's just distraction. And talk about the pain first, and let's address the pain, and let's address the real issue, and then we'll go forward and go from there. So but that's it, man. I don't want to blow your spot up.
No. I mean, it's good. You know, we need to have these type of dialogues with other people amongst ourselves to get it off our chest. So, you know, because a lot of times we don't get a chance to, you know, vent about it. And so this is an opportunity for people to, you know, as a platform we're trying to use to talk about our situation. So, you know, I'll move on, and because I know you got stuff you got to do, but you got the scrubs on, and I guess, you know, talk about what you're doing now. A lot of people are like, hey, man, we see Ravi at the games. We see him, but what's he do outside of that? So I guess tell the people, man, begin what you're up to now.
So I work for the orthopedic instrument division of Stryker. So I'm around at hospitals. I see a lot of folks, a lot of blue coats. I see a lot of blue coats and some of the security guys at the hospital. So I see people around town, and yeah, I'm wearing my scrubs. But yeah, I do that. I enjoy it. It's fun. It pays the bills, and dabble in real estate every now and then. So see what's up with that. But yeah, I'm still around Lexington. I have a 13-year-old now and a 1-year-old boy. So I got Braylon, who's 13, and then little Link. I've had Link at some games and Midnight Madness and stuff. So he just turned 1 last week. So yeah, that's it.
Man, that those two keep you busy, man. I've seen your kids and your wife, your beautiful family, and I'm so happy for you, man. I'm glad that you bring them out to the games, get them dealing early, you know, get them in Rupp, get a little taste of that Big Blue Nation, man. You know, I do that to my sons as well, and they love it. They love being out in the community and being to the games, and you know, love seeing what we're doing, you know, and I actually got an opportunity to fill in for you one day, man. I want to say thank you for that.
Man, thank you.
Yeah, you were absent, and they said, hey, can you do it? Nathan approached me. I said, heck yeah, I'll do it, man. And I loved it. And I can see it's tough because you got 24,000 people looking at you dead in the face. Like, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? You know, and I'm like, you know, and it was good. Maria was so excellent. She calmed me down. She's great. She got a good vibe. And so it was fun.
Good, man. Good. Yeah, man. I'm glad you had a good time, man. I'm glad you had a great time.
Well, Ravi, man,
pulling in more than you know.
Yep. Yeah, man. Well, Ravi, man, I want to say, look, thank you for doing this with me, man. It's always good catching up with you. You're a special person. I'm glad that you're able to get back to your community and get back to your university by doing the emceeing and, you know, being around the community. A lot of people love to see that. And, you know, we need to see more guys come back and do that. I know they come back just to do the why, but I like that, you know, you're actually in the community giving back, and that's really special.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it, man. I know the fans love to catch up with the old guys, so keep doing it.